So, first of all, hello. So, in today's video, we are going to be doing a World War III scenario. So, I think that kicking it off, it's going to be the Koreans who are going to start the World War. And if we go ahead and switch the colors, go to less, we don't need to have layers or history on. Just these two is all we need. Get a lighter red. So, this is most likely what's going to kick it off, with China joining the Korean side, along with Russia and Mongolia. Japan would probably be joining the blue team. Actually, no, I'm going to make it a green team. Even though that's really not the colors that I would like to be using. The C is blues. Yeah?
What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
I'm making a map.
Making a map?
Yeah.
Is that Europe? Or is that
that's Asia.
Asia? Okay.
Why? So, let's go over to the Americas. Along with America, Canada, UK, France, and maybe even Germany going to the aid of South Korea, just because of the USA. But with that, I think India might join the war, even though it might hurt them to join the war, because they're probably going to get surrounded, especially with China and Russia. I'm thinking that all of the former USSR lands, at least, actually no, these people just got done with the war, so I'm thinking this is what it's going to look like, with Turkey going to the aid of the USA, and along with Russia declaring war on Turkey, So right here, what's that? Yo, what the? Hold on. I think there's a little thing missing here. In Yemen. So, there, and then, alright. Now, I'm gonna need to get the colors back in my colors thing. So I think that Saudi Arabia would join the green side, and along with Egypt joining the red side. I'm gonna list the neutral countries right now in yellow. Switzerland, Iceland, Greenland, and I think Uruguay and Mozambique. And Equatorial Guinea are gonna be the neutral lands. So now let's go back to actual civil war. I think Afghanistan is going to be red, along with Iran. So, and then over here, I think Ukraine, Croatia, Czechia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and is that San Marino? San Marino? Oh, I meant to put that on green. That's okay. We gotta make mistakes. And for the blue, I'm gonna change that to red. But Finland, I think the green side would get 2 new members, Norway and Sweden. Although they don't, I think Ireland would also be forced into joining the green team due to the symbolic UK pressure. Um, Portugal, Portugal and Spain would probably be joining the green team as well, along with Australia and New Zealand. Let's get the islands up here that we missed. There. There's your dumb islands. And along, I think Pakistan is going to join the red team just because India has joined the green team. And Myanmar would probably join the red team, along with Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. I think that Indonesia would probably join. I think this isn't. Oh my god, that is not Indonesia. Indonesia doesn't control the entire ocean. That's good enough portrayal of Indonesia. You get the point. I think over here in North and South Korea, because of that divide, which started the whole thing, I think that Somalia would. Not Somalia, where is it? Sudan. This is an outdated map, actually. But either way, if we go over here, I think Poland would also join the green team in protection from others, along with Czechia joining the green team. I think Benelux would soon follow, along with Denmark. Actually, oh no. I'm trying to make this fair, but you can't make everything fair. I'm also going to create another faction, the African faction, which is going to be displayed by this pink. I think Kenya, not this one, hold on, how do you undo? I think Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, Djibouti, Eritrea would join, along with Sudan, because this is probably, since it's in this, it's probably suffering conflicts from South Sudan. Chad and Central African Republic, and possibly even South Africa would join. Actually, no, South Africa would be forced into joining the red team because of BRICS. And if we're doing that, then Brazil would also join red. I think Argentina, in spite, would have joined the green team. Or is that the right green? They would join the green team. Along with Chile following. Along with Venezuela joining the green team because of the USA. Along with Mexico being forced into joining the green team. I think Panama would also join. And I'm pretty sure that's also Panama. I don't know. Namibia would probably, I'm just saying, join the African faction. Let's keep it right. Angola and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as well as Botswana and Zimbabwe. Nigeria and Mali would probably join along with Niger. Libya and Algeria, Tunisia would join the green team, along with Morocco having that from Spain, and West Sahara isn't recognized in this war. Mauritania would probably be green as well. And for red, there would probably be red in these two countries because of South Africa. Maybe even Botswana. I think Botswana and Zimbabwe. Let's talk about these countries, the Baltics, I think. No, these are same thing, Baltics and Balkans. Let's go ahead and go here. They would join the red team. I think also Iraq would probably join the red team. And here's what our map is looking like so far. I think maybe a couple of countries, such as Paraguay, would probably be joining the African faction, which is now just the third faction, along with Chile.
Hey.
Hello?
Come on.
What?
Look on the front, bro. Come on.
Bro, what are you Alright, so, as I said, I think that Peru and Colombia, as long as Ecuador, and along with the French territory of Guyana, I think Liberia, I believe this is Liberia, would join the green team, along with forcing pressure on Ghana, I think. I think maybe starting their own party. I think that maybe this orangish color is going to be half almost on an economic sort of, a military supporter, but not going to be in the war. So who I would put this in is I would put this in Nepal. These three countries, as well as Sri Lanka and Singapore. Singapore would also be in the militarily supporting the red team but not being in the war. Cyprus would join the side of Turkey, so it would be on the green team, as well as Jordan, facing pressure from Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, with its only neighbor being Saudi Arabia, would have to choose that. And obviously, this Finland, I'm going to put them on a blue team. I'm going to put them on a blue team with Belarus, Romania, Moldova, Greece, and Albania. These are going to be a team which is going to be basically not in the war, but also at the same time in the war. And I believe Cameroon is going to be on the red side due to various reasons. Due to red side offering economic support, as long as you give them military, but facing immense pressure from purple team, they are going to decide to go purple in the end. And I think that would happen as well with these nations over here facing purple team. So basically, purple team, let's review the ideologies. Purple team is anarchy to capitalist. This is this is communism and this is capitalism. Yellow is whatever the fuck. And then these are the Nordic countries. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna be right back. This is going to be section number 2 of the video where we're going to be talking about the war. Obviously, this part would be taken over by the communists, as well as Turkey. India would face major things, but they will just divide India across that line. Because India, obviously Russia, and of course all the neighboring countries are basically communist supporters. And yeah, so that is going to be what the red side takes of India. Ukraine would push into, Japan would probably push into Russia and Siberia territories, but due to lack of hospitality, I don't think it would end up working out too well, and they'd probably only reach there before ultimately failing their goal. So, I'm also going to be thinking that this purple team would also be doing some fighting along here with Mauritania and Tunisia taking them, and also probably trying to take over Botswana, probably trying to take over Zimbabwe and Mozambique to join their team. But obviously Egypt is very equipped for this war, so they're going to be taking over many of the, especially since their military is equipped for deserts and especially near here. So some of those troops would be able to come into here and sweep up African nations left and right, but facing huge differentiates from the green team, pushing in and pushing in to where is it? They would be pushing into Singapore because they're technically helping the communists. They would probably recruit the Philippines as well, due to the war being very hard. And Taiwan probably be on the green team. Yeah, if I wanted my social credit score, I wouldn't say that, but sadly, I don't care. And obviously, they're going to push into Russia right here, but they can't really make it too far due to the strong Russian military, and ultimately they get pushed back a little bit back, and from there this little military can launch their attack force into these lower countries. And this is a World War III scenario, so yeah. And ultimately with Venezuela and Colombia, the Green War would definitely be taking over all of these countries, including the white countries, and also Ecuador. But the red team would be fighting back in Brazil for the fight for, in the fight for South America. They're not going to take that land because it belongs to the French, and that would anger them. And the French has very close relations with the USA, and they don't ultimately want that. They can take over Argentina before ultimately getting pushed back out of Argentina. And ultimately, over here, they are going to fall victim to the purple team. And of course, these landlocked countries are going to be taken over easily. So, yeah, so this is our world map so far. And obviously, China is going to be fighting multiple wars, but nothing inconsequential. So China is going to have a divide in the purple. They're going to spread a bunch of propaganda to get a lot of the Chinese side on purple team, but that will ultimately not work, as you will see out later. Spoilers. And if we go into Italy, they are actually going to join the purple team as well due to propaganda. And yeah, I think this island is Italy's as well. And then ultimately Switzerland can't stay neutral forever with the green team taking them over, but the red team is going to push into the Baltics, and they're going to capture this part of Russia, which was already Russia's. They're going to push into Poland, making a little divide right there. Kind of like the olden times. Belarus would ultimately just join the USSR as well as Romania due to easy access through the sea, and Moldova, although Ukraine would be a strong fighter, and they would use Ukraine as a landing base to try and conquer more of Russia, but sadly they actually fail and their plan gets revoked. And what ends up happening is Ukraine gets not warly, but just converted due to propaganda. And Czechia and Slovakia are going to be whole again. So let's just write that. So Czechoslovakia will then join the Czechoslovakia, and that half of Poland will ultimately fall to communism. Let's do this red. And Greece would ultimately end up joining the purple team. Now, it seems like the big war is between the purples and the reds, but the USA decides to intervene in South America and also spread some propaganda. So the USA is going to go and conquer most of the Caribbean and most of South America, except for Brazil, because going through the Amazon rainforest would be a bad idea. So instead, they're just going to, hold on, let me make that 30. They're just going to conquer the lower tip of Brazil and the coastline to block its naval access. But they leave this bit unattached, so Brazil actually has some more naval access ports. They have a port right there. So, the purple team in Africa really isn't strong enough, so they're going to continue to push back over here on this front until they get to South Africa. Then they're going to sort of try to get these lands under communism. But although the Greens do decide to intervene, and they do take up some of the land, and by some of the land, I mean most of the land, basically like the French, but like way worse. So they're going to do this, and they are going to be taking it back because they tried to conquer Ghana from them. So, yeah, and we are going to actually make the North Koreans win due to just so much support from this side of China. Although this does look like most of China is under purple team, like probably over 1 billion people live on this side compared to the other side. So South Korea will be taken over, which provokes the green team. And since, Canada, Mexico, and the USA especially, along with this eastern half of continue to convert Europe, and they actually get pretty successful at converting Europe to capitalism. And they even push back into Ukraine, which later gets provoked. So Czechoslovakia and Poland also get attained. But India actually goes back, and Sri Lanka turns fully communist, as well as Equatorial Guinea turns fully communist. All of the orange countries are now turning fully communist due to the war. I just don't want it to go on too long. So everybody's going to have to join a team. And it turns out the purple team is actually losing this war, and Madagascar goes to the green team due to Indian naval ships coming over here to take over Madagascar without the purple team knowing. And with these two countries acquired, the last steps were taken for the purple team. The purple team now only resides specifically in China, and Finland is going to have to join this team, the green team. And actually, the USA has realized their mistake and now fully block off Brazil's naval access, and Brazil signs a peace treaty, and the USA gets to keep the upper half of Brazil. So all of this is going to go to the USA. all of this, and they decided to do that peace deal because it's mostly just Amazon jungle. And with Brazil still having their capital, they decide to move on. And with Brazil having little time remaining, they naval invade the Republic of the Congo and turn it red. And with Australia falling to communism due to propaganda, Papua New Guinea going to communism, and this communism all over here. Everybody has to pick a side, but the UK reverts the communism in Australia. And so far, this looks like a pretty even battle. Anybody could win, with Russia and most of China being on their side, and actually most of Africa as well. And I mean, sure, they have Nigeria, which is actually 200 mil people, but still. So, red team pushes in more into Africa because they decide to focus their main goal on conquering Africa, while the green team decides to focus on conquering these Asian countries. And Kazakhstan was the final straw, so Chinese troops are going to go, instead of to Korea, which they have already won, they are going to go back and claim these countries again. And they actually take over Saudi Arabia this time, and that does not happen. And this is a pretty even fight, and although it looks like red team is winning, most of the GDP is actually in this area and this area, so they could possibly win, but just with how many people, especially since India has fallen to red team. And this world war in total has killed minus 500 million people. Minus 500 million people, just for clarity. And just because they've killed 500 million people, that doesn't mean that the war is over yet, sadly. So, what they decide to do is they decide that they're focusing on Africa again. Well, you want to know how that turns out? They actually win Africa over for the final time. The final time, they win Africa over. Every single country in Africa gets transported. Every single country in Africa is now under communism. Basically that. And now nobody is going to win back Africa due to 100 million troops being stationed around the coastline and through entering areas. There's just going to be no way. And with that in mind, especially with BRICS, that mainly contributed to most of these, and Korea starting it. Purple team is actually going to take over Bhutan and Nepal, starting small, and then they're going to take over Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. So purple team, this was sort of like the last straw for purple team. So purple team is going to be completely eliminated. Now it's a 1v1 battle. Starting off, it had 5 teams at one point. Now there's only 2. Now it's looking majorly in the communist favor, and with the UAE falling to communism due to a lot of troops being stationed there, they actually go through and sweep up the Nordics, and with most of the Europe's power being gone, as long as the USA, the communists take over the last of Brazil and South America, and but except for Venezuela, and they actually do take over France and Spain due to propaganda. Italy falls due to propaganda. Western states fall due to propaganda. Western states fall due to propaganda. And yeah. And then basically, Japan, you're going to die due to propaganda. And, really, this war killed 1 billion people now. And, yeah. Now, if the last Green's coming and going, they don't actually win over the USA, but they sign a peace treaty to get. They signed a peace treaty to get all of New England and the coast, and plus all of the USA. And the USA now resides in Puerto Rico. And Mexico falling to communism, Nicaragua falling, and Panama falling to communism. And Canada eventually falling to propaganda. They are going, and especially those islands that were really easy. But now Portugal, Switzerland, Austria, Slovenia, and Luxembourg are falling to propaganda. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, and lower half of Italy. These islands falling to propaganda. It really just makes you think, you know. And now the entire world is communist. This is just the end of World War III. So if you like the video, leave a like.